There's Photoshop CC. I'm going to do a freeze motion out of bounds composition. So I have my photo here, taking of a horse, jumping, and so this is how would I attack it, guys, with using Photoshop. So you open up your photograph in Photoshop. Let's go to layers. Let's expand this so you can see. Hide the history for a sec. All right, so one of the first things I'm going to do is duplicate the layer. So just right click, duplicate the layer. And you can say horse. All right, and what I'm going to do here now is crop around the, because I'm thinking maybe I want to trim around the hoof and maybe the head a bit. Okay, so I'm going to just use my lasso tool for this. Now, lasso or pen tool, zooming in. Shortcuts were spacebar and command for the zoom tool, and then you can use spacebar and click and drag and pan around the photograph. So I don't need to crop around or close crop around here. I could use the lasso tool, but in retrospect, I think I'm going to use a pen tool. So let's get the pen tool right here if you can't find it. I know if some people have the double layer interface, it looks a little different. Single, look for that pen tool. This gives you the most accuracy. All right, so I'm gonna go from the shoulders here. I'm gonna click and drag. Okay. Now, if you want more accuracy, just zoom in closer. So I've decided here, spacebar for the panning tool, decided to remove some of the pixels because there's some jaggies, some of the blur. Clicking and dragging, and making multiple reference points. These can be adjusted afterwards. And okay. And I'll go across. So I've made a path around the top section of the head. And I can right click, say I want to make the selection based on that mask, 0. Okay. Now, I'm just going to go back a step. Before I do this, just going to show the history. You can go to these pen tools, kind of like Illustrator or any other, because it's essentially the vector path. You could click once and adjust and smooth out these points. Okay. You can grab your direct selection tool, path and direct. Direct is a specific point, so I can click on this point. Notice that's blue and the other ones aren't. And I can click and drag. So if you made a mistake with your pen tool, don't feel like it's over. You can use these adjustment tools to correct the pitch, the geometry of those lines. Okay, so the convert point tool will make points into curves. The direct selection tool allows you to pick specific points and adjust them. So clicking, dragging, smooth out. So if you feel that it wasn't perfect, you can adjust those. Anyways, so I have here a path. I'm happy with it. I'm going to right click with the pen tool selected, of course. This doesn't work with other tools selected. So right click, make selection. Okay. We could create a layer mask, but I'm just going to make this easier for most students. So I'm going to just hide this layer for a second. And if I were to press delete, I would delete the face. So I don't want to do that. Okay. What I can do here is press Command C to copy these pixels, then press Command V and paste them. So what ends up happening is there's the face right there. So going back to my horse layer, I'm going to do similar technique. And this is where it takes time, guys. I want some of the hooves to pop out for my photo. So using the pen tool. Is there a easier, faster way? Yeah, I can probably use some of the quick selection tools. But man, I just find the pen tool is the most accurate way of cropping an image, especially with this detail. Okay. Make selection. Okay. Press Command C, Command V to paste it. Okay. And you can see the layers working. All right, let's just say for the argument, I'm happy with that. I don't want to do anything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide. I'm going to go to my background layer. I'm going to unlock it. With the marquee tool, rectangle one, I'm going to click and drag a rectangle around there. Okay. I have a nice little feathered radius edge here. If you don't like that, you can erase it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell the computer that I want to delete those. Now, if I press delete right now, I will delete the photograph. I don't want that. I want to delete the background. So I'm going to go image. Sorry, I apologize. Selection, inverse. So now the mask is around the whole photograph there. Press delete. Now, you can see the effect of what it does. The hoove looks like it's coming out of the photograph and the head. Okay, as a nice little cool style. You can now double click on here and play with layer styles. Also, another way to find layer styles is to go to, bear with me, layer and layer styles. Okay, so in this one, I'm just going to create a stroke. Oh, it's a bit too big. Let's shrink that down. You know what? That feathering kind of messed things up. So I'm going to go back to here. Go back to my crop tool. Get rid of this feather. That was a bad idea, actually, in retrospect. And I'll just select that. Inverse it. Delete all those pixels. Now it's sharp. Command D. Get rid of that mask. And double click here, and you can see stroke, color. Let's pick something. Pick within the photograph. You can pick green, pink. You choose from here. Whatever you like. Okay. Press OK. You can play with the sizing of it. All right, and then image. Trim, let's get rid of the excess pixels and save my document. You can play with the effects and drop shadows and all that and play with more of it, but essentially that's how you do it. And voila. There's your little quick tutorial on how to do the Photoshop aspect of the freeze frame out of bounds.